Good morning from Merida, Mexico. Merida, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but I do know it is the capital city of the Yucatan region of Mexico. I feel so incredibly fortunate to have been welcomed into the beautiful home and life of my dear friend Pia Rosado. She is truly a special cat. And to be honest, I really needed to land someplace. I've been through a lot. I left New York. I've been in Mexico City. I had this incredible experience at MEA, the Modern Elder Academy in Baja, Mexico. And I needed this moment to pause and to metabolize all that I've experienced over the last few weeks. So thank you, Pia. I had originally thought that I would dedicate this week to talking about my beautiful experience attending a workshop called The Magic of Cross-Generational Wisdom. But the truth of the matter is, I'm still unpacking it and I don't even know exactly what to share. So I thought I'd just start by telling you this. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I mean, I know what the Modern Elder Academy is, and I'm a big fan of Chip Conley, one of the co-creators of the center. MEA bills itself as the world's first midlife wisdom school, a community built on spreading wisdom and navigating transitions. I read Chip's writing. He's a prolific writer. He has something called the Wisdom Well, which comes out, I think I mentioned this before, it comes out every day. He is a really cool cat. If you are not signed up for the Wisdom Well, or if you haven't looked into the Modern Elder Academy, I strongly urge you to do so. Uh, Let me just say this, it's not for old people. One of the surprising things I learned this week was that research shows that our most unhappy moment in life is between the ages of 45 and 50. And one of the many things that we talked about was that people struggle because we don't have the tools to navigate transition. Let me share some of the language that is beautifully woven in to the foundation of everything there, whether you're going for a sabbatical session or to attend one of their amazing courses that range anything from cultivating purpose to learning to love midlife to rituals to navigate transitions. I mean, so many different types of courses there. For example, the one I attended, The Magic of Cross Generational Wisdom, was a group of people. I think there were like 28 of us, ranging in age from 25 to 75, talking about intergenerational excellence, the challenges that are baked into the system that isolate us and separate us, age diversity in the workplace. Did you know that we have more generations in the workplace than ever before in history? So, all this to say, we talked about so many different things, and that's not what this is about. I want to stay on the idea of what is MEA and share with you some of the language and some of the phrases that are baked into the discussions and the literature about the place. Things like ROI, which of course means return on investment, but in this language, it's ripples of impact. We talked about the fact that elders are meant to be relevant, not revered. We talked about health span versus lifespan and rewirement versus retirement. I think the net here is that the old script of aging is learn, earn, adjourn, or retire. And quite frankly, that is just such old thinking. I think it all comes down to the fact that it's not about living longer. It's about the fact that we are in midlife for a much longer period of time and we don't have the transition tools. We haven't spent enough time looking at this period, and it's important to pause. So, anyway, I don't want to go on and on. I don't even know where I'm going with this, except for to say that I had this amazing experience. I went there with not a lot of expectation. I knew it would be a place for me to reflect, to put myself in the way of interesting people, to be intellectually stimulated, and to be nourished physically, spiritually, emotionally, and it far exceeded anything I could ever have imagined, truly. I feel like I walked away with not only new perspective and food for thought, but a wealth of new, beautiful friendships and generally re energized. I'll end with a little story. So I fly from Mexico City to Cabo, and there's a person there with a sign that says MEA. And I get on the van, and it's just me and a woman who is less than half my age. It's funny because I knew I was going to this cross generational wisdom event. And the first thing I thought to myself was, okay, Constance, don't ask too many questions. So we pull out of the airport, and the scenery is ridiculously beautiful. There are mountains, the contrast of the white billowy clouds against the crisp blue sky. It was stunning. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what can I say? What can I ask that might open up this conversation in a softer way than my usual 10,000 questions? And by the time we landed at MEA 1 hour later, I had made my first friend. Her name is Jada. And for some reason, this is making me emotional because one of the first things she said to me was, I work to find the gifts and talents of the people in my community. And I thought, whoa, here's this young, beautiful girl, less than half my age, telling me that she works to find the gifts and talents of the people in her community. I said to her, I'm guessing this is the first time you've been to a retreat like this. And she giggled. She said, yeah. And I said to her, you're one courageous woman. I didn't go to a conference or a retreat, anything like this, until I was well into my 40s. And that share was the beginning of our friendship. It turned out Jada was the youngest person in our cohort, and I could go on to say so much about her, but let me just say this. I felt so lucky that Jada was the first person I met because not only did I admire her right away, I instantly knew that it was a special and unique learning opportunity for me. It was my first experiential moment in the magic of cross-generational wisdom. I also want to urge any of you who may be curious about attending a conference or doing something new. I don't want to belabor the point. I know I belabor lots of points, but there is magic in coming together with people in a small group setting to talk about something that interests you, whether it's music, poetry, writing, learning how to be a DJ, learning how to podcast. It doesn't matter what it is. Go seek out those groups where you can meet new people, learn something new. There is magic when you're willing to raise your hand and to step outside your comfort zone. Trust me on that. That's all for now. Until next time, from my heart to yours.